Hey guys, let's get ready to warm up. So we have our runner twist lunges first. We're going to start off with 10 repetitions total, then 8, 6, 4, and 2. So you're going to step one leg way back, reach your hand towards the floor, and reach the other arm up towards the ceiling. Keep your core braced. And when you step back, drop those hips down so you get a good stretch in the front of your thigh and your hip. You also get a nice chest opener and crack your back a little bit with this twist in a good way. And now a modified version. If you cannot reach the floor, step back, hand to your knee, and reach up. It gives the same stretch, and you don't have to reach as far down if you're not that flexible. Next, we have our pinwheels, which we're going to do the reps on each side. Lie on your side, bend your knees in, and have your arms together to start. You're going to sweep your arm up and around in a huge circle and reverse the circle. Make sure you want to keep your hips stacked, but try to open out your chest as far as you can, keeping your core nice and tight. This will get a good stretch in your shoulder and your chest. Now moving on to our child's pose to seal stretch. You're going to sit on your knees, hips are back, stretch your arms forward. Then you're going to tuck your pelvis under, move your hips forward, look up. So you're going to move back and forth where you're stretching your back and then stretching your hips and abs out. This is going to be really, really nice, getting more circulation and movement in your back. So round your back, bring your hips back, drop your chest down in that child's pose, and then bring your hips towards the floor when you move forward to that seal stretch. Hips try to touch the floor, shoulders away from your ears, and look up. And move back, bracing your core the entire time. For the last part of our warm-up, we have 90 hip stretches. You're going to sit with your feet shoulder-width apart and just drop your knees over to one side and then move them to the other side. It's important with this one, you want to try to keep your hips down as much as possible and try to let those knees touch the floor as close as they can. Keep your abs in nice and tight. And then just get a good stretch. You feel a stretch in the front of your hip and get those hip sockets circulated and moving for our workouts. And just have your hands support you behind you. Great job. Now it's time for our challenge. We're going to start off with burpees. So you can place your hands to the floor, jump back, jump forward, and jump straight up. When you jump back into the plank, make sure your body is in a straight line and jump forward with your hips dropped down enough to be in that squat and spring up. Now for modified, you can walk it back, walk it forward, and stand up if jumping's a little too strenuous on your joints. Keep your abs in nice and tight no matter which version you're doing. And now another modified version is be with a chair. So you can just hands to the chair, jump back, jump forward, and stand all the way up. Next, we have our air squats or bodyweight squats. Feet are hip to shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out, and just drop your butt back and squeeze those thighs, drive those heels through the floor on the way up. Squeeze your butt too. Keep your chest up, so even though your butt is going back, make sure you have good posture and your shoulders are still upright. And keep that rib cage pulled in. It helps protect your back in this move. Next up is push-ups. So get into a top of a push-up position. Hands are underneath your shoulders, toes curled under, hips tucked under, and just lower your chest down as low as you can, bracing that core and keeping those hips in line with the rest of your spine. Breathe out on the way up and breathe in on the way down. Now a modified version. Just drop your knees to the floor, still keeping your hands underneath your shoulders. Pelvis is tucked under. Pull that rib cage in to brace that core and lower your chest down as far as you can. Keep everything in line. Lastly, we have our frog sit-ups. So you're going to sit with your bottoms of your feet together, knees are apart, roll it down and roll it up. Really use that core. So pretend as you go down, you're pressing each vertebrae of your spine into the ground and you're peeling them off the ground as you roll up. We don't want a flat back just plopping up and down. That would be really strenuous for your back and it won't do much for your core. So really try to utilize those abs and go carefully up and down. Now, if your back hurts with having your feet in that position, you can have your feet shoulder width apart, flat on the floor, and same principle applies. You're going to roll up very carefully and roll down. Really use that core. So tuck the pelvis under on the way up and down so that you can roll that spine and press each little vertebrae into the floor. You could also do crunches if sitting up is just not happening. Now, once you've done all those reps, then you're going to ladder back up 10, 20, and 30 reps of each of those exercises again. Bye. Have fun.